Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome to another episode of The Spill. Beck, how are you, first of all?
Oh, Nick, Trace was just talking about wine and my mind is on wine right now.
I know. Yeah, I'm being good. I've got a cup of tea, which is rare on The Spill. But being good girls this week, bad girls next week. So
is it really tea?
No, I promise it's tea. So, ladies, welcome. We are so excited for this week because we have a special guest, Tracey Sofra, who we've been shouting from the rooftops about. And really, today's chat is Beck and I are just going to, ask Tracey some questions. We want to introduce Tracey to you because Tracey is, yes, she's a financial planner. She owns her own financial planning business. She's a founder of Wow Women. She's an award-winning industry expert. Beyond all of that, she's someone who I've been able to personally work with, and I can tell you hand on heart, it's been a blessing. It allows me to sleep better at night. It allows me to breathe out. It allows me to know that I've got another woman by my side who's got my back, really focused on helping me with my future planning. And this month, we're really focused on possibility and future planning in the group, Tracey. So we thought it was a beautiful time to have you on, get to know you a little bit better for the women who haven't yet connected, and then stay to the end of this conversation, ladies, because we will share with you all of the goodness that's still to come with Tracey towards the end of this month. But Beck, I want to hand it over to you because we want to have a little bit of fun just to kick it off and get to know Tracey really well, really quick.
We're going to start off nice and simple, Trace, but just get ready for what's about to come. Now, everyone playing at home, Tracey doesn't know any of these questions, just a heads up. Are you ready, Trace?
I'm ready to go.
Red, white, or rosé?
White.
Nice one. Okay, second question. Who's been one of your greatest mentors in life? And is there something that stands out that they taught you?
My dad. Self-belief, to always, he taught me to be me. He taught me that I was enough. The love and support, trying to dig into it, because Dad's gone now, but he'd have to be my greatest mentor. I miss him every day of my life. And it's always his words playing in my head. It's like the recording, I call it. Yeah, my dad.
What a special gift to pass on. That's cool.
And you've just inspired me to make sure I pour that into my kids because they're still so young. So thank you, Trace. That was beautiful. Now, describe yourself in 3 words.
Impatient, totally compassionate. I feel too much of everyone's emotion. I'm like a sponge. Can I add another one?
Mm-hmm.
Tough but fair.
Love that. And last question is, what's one of your favorite superpowers about yourself?
The ability to, it comes back to the compassion piece, the ability to really understand where the other person's coming from, just to, like they say, walk a mile in my shoes. Oh my God, nothing better to be able to go in there and go, okay, I get where you're coming from. And I think that, especially with what I do, that is a superpower, because if you don't understand what that person's going through, if you can't feel the emotion, if you can't understand, how are you going to help them? Because it's not about me, it's about them.
Love that.
I have one more that I feel everyone will get to know you a bit better by this one, Trace. So if you could be any flavor of ice cream, what flavor would you choose yourself to be?
Well, it's probably not vanilla. It's probably going to be like Rocky Road, something like that. It's going to be a bit of all that because I'm a bit of a weirdo like that, I suppose. Like everyone, I've got different parts of my personality. A lot of the time people look at me and they think, oh, wow, like I've had the girls in the office go, oh, you're always so together, Trace. Oh, really? Have you looked below the surface? Seriously, but it all looks good on the outside. So never underestimate what other people are going through, no matter how together they seem to look. We're all human, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember you saying something. I remember we were in a conversation and you were saying, you know, even self-confidence or self-love, you're like, it's not about like changing the parts that you physically can't change about yourself. Like it's accepting every part of that, which is super cool. Okay, so I would love to know. So Beck and I were chatting before and we're like, what would give these ladies, because this is just a, you know, a get to know you and a snip of Tracey for now, but what can help the women really understand the depth of you and how you help us as women as well? Something I admire about you is your, I don't like the word authentic at the moment, but true passion. Like it's real for really helping educate women and making sure they feel confident and empowered around their future and around money. Where does the passion come from? Like, have you always had it? Did something happen? Like,
look, again, goes back to my dad about it was always the empowerment first. It wasn't the money first. It was always the empowerment. It was always wanting desperately to be able to share what I feel internally with all the women that I came into contact with. I remember it when I was younger, in my early teens with my girlfriends. They would struggle with just feeling confident in themselves, and it depended on their environment, what their parents said to them. I had one particular girlfriend, love her to bits. We've been friends since we were 14, and she didn't have the positive, talking stuff that I always heard. So I never heard anything negative, good or bad. I just never did. And she did, and she struggled with that most of her life. And I would think, if only I could take that pain away from her, because she's awesome. She is awesome. And you should see what she's gone on to do, create 2-3 businesses, fantastic marriage. She's a beautiful person. She does lots of catering stuff, like she's in food. So always, I remember, you know, when I was young, feeling like, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to somehow take what I have here and just pass it on? Almost like talk about superpower. Wouldn't it be nice to just touch someone, they go poof, you know, like in the, you know, like when we were kids and watching those Disney movies. So it was always about the empowerment piece, and the empowerment is to live your life on your own terms. We are not objects. We don't belong to anyone. I belong to me. I make my own decisions. But I found that where I ended up in life, which is here, financial planning, accounting, I have this skill set. And I do believe wholeheartedly, without a doubt, and this is the God-given truth, because a lot of people, and I hear a lot of this, oh, money doesn't make you happy and money's not the answer and da-da-da, but hang on a minute. There's a currency to how we live. You can't live without money. And as women, if we are in control of our own money, if we have financial independence, but to have financial independence, you've got to have financial confidence. You've got to be confident enough to make those decisions for yourself. Now, is it 100% confident all the time? No, who is, right? I mean, even myself, when I think about investing in a share or doing that, I do the research. Yeah, it's my skill set, but still there's an element of risk. That's life. I was just telling my 17-year-old daughter, there's an element of risk in everything. Just go for it. There is no guarantees. You got to go for it. So having the financial confidence for women to be able to go, you know what, I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to have a go. And the journey is I'm going to get some right. I'm going to get some wrong. And I have, I've shared my money story with everyone. And I think that the fact that I share all the good, bad and the ugly about what I do is really, really important, because past the, going to uni, getting the degree, getting the skills, and then building up my experience with other clientele. What about what I did in terms of investing? What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What do I do now? Like, I love sharing that, because I think that's the real stuff that people want to know, because they don't want to listen to someone here thinking, oh, listen to me, I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect. But what I do is I don't give up, and I persist and I keep going, because I believe that once we are financially independent, everything else will take care of itself. Every other piece that we struggle with will take care of itself, because we need to have that power of being able to manage our own money and make our own financial decisions. Does that answer your question? Like, I'm so all over this stuff. I can talk about this for hours. I just love it. It starts with money.
Let me just say, the way you speak, it actually, like, when you talk about, it's nearly like you pass a torch of empowerment. Like, I listen to you and I feel that, like, that is one of your gifts. It's so
thank you. I try really hard to make sure that when I communicate, I'm doing it in a way that makes sense. It's just how my brain ticks, so I don't confuse people. So I can pretty much say, for us to have the type of freedom that we want, and let's face it, you know, compared to our grandmothers, we got so much freedom. Think of what the world was back then. You know, we've got so much freedom, but we've got so much more to go. But the key to unlock all of that is financial confidence, because the minute we've got that, then we start acting. And once we start acting, it builds, momentum builds. We're going to start doing stuff. We can't keep sitting on the sidelines and waiting to be rescued. I get advocacy. I love advocacy. Yes, I will be an advocate for, you know, the pay gap and all the stuff that goes on. But at the end of the day, I just can't sit around and wait. And I'm not a passive watcher. You know, I don't like watching. I've got to get in there and I've got to do it for myself. So we've got to do it for ourselves. We're responsible for our lives. The advocacy is great, and that needs to be pushed without a doubt. I'm not underestimating that. But as women, we can't just wait around and go, oh, look, when they give us this, what do you mean give it to us? We're going to take it, right? Right.
Oh, it's so good. And I'm listening to you as well, Tracey, and I just did your last course, which I admit, prior to even doing any of this money mindset, I avoided a lot because I just felt it wasn't my job. I just felt it would all be taken care of for me. And my confidence, financial confidence, definitely has changed. It's still not where it needs to be, but that's why we have these conversations. My question, you've answered it a little bit, and you just kind of said, don't give up, persist, keep going. But my question is, you've got kids. What do you tell them? What is your advice that you give to them when they come to you with a question?
In terms of money or anything else?
Oh, actually, let's go money, because everything else I'll ask you personally, because I'll need that advice later on. But let's go money first.
Well, they're not allowed to spend everything they get. So the golden rule is pay yourself first. And that's just take the cream off the top, because as you know, Beck, going through the program, the simplest thing in life, and I wasn't taught this, so I had to learn this. I wasn't taught this. And maybe on another call I can share that story, my crossroads story, where it all changed for me. That the golden rule is so simple: pay yourself first. Because if you're waiting for your turn, in terms of that pot of money that comes into every household, has a pot of money, right? Whether it comes from business or wages or whatever. If you're waiting for your turn to take your bid, you'll never get a turn, because there's always bills and have to do's and da. Nope. Number one, 10 to 30% cross to the other account. Direct debit, just do it. Don't be afraid. Because I always say to clients, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, imagine I'm advising you, Beck and Nick. What's the worst thing that could happen, girls? You end up with a couple of $1,000s over this account. You just bring it back if you need it. Like, seriously, what's the worst thing that could happen? Don't be afraid, do it, and you will see. And usually then the backup question is, but Trace, we can barely live off what we've got. And you're telling me to put, yeah, I am, because you're going to get creative, because we live off what we're given. So the more money we get, the more we spend. I've done it. Absolutely. So it is that we just fill whatever's there. It just naturally happens unless we're aware of it and we're all over it. We're getting all over our money going. And it needs time and energy. It needs your time and energy. You've got to put in. It's like any other relationship, yeah? Remember? With the guys and our friends and our money, and your relationship with money, you've got to give it the time it deserves. It's not going to miraculously appear, and you're not the only one, Beck. We were all brought up, particularly my generation, that the man would take care of the money, that I would be looked after. I mean, that's the status quo. That's the stereotypical that we're still trying to kind of weed out. We get there by doing things like this. So they're not allowed to spend all of their money. So they both have bank accounts, and they must put, so when I say all their money, at the moment they're not working. When my daughter was working, she had to save the bulk of it. But if they get money for Christmas, birthdays, for whatever reason, I bank it. Because they're young enough, 30% for them, not 10, 30%. And even, to be quite honest, we push a little bit harder because their kids at home, they don't need money, that they've got to save it. And then each one of the kids have a share platform that I obviously take that cash and invest it in direct shares for the kids. Yeah.
So good. Even just that simple thing, I don't have kids yet, but when you said about, Christmas and birthday, my mind instantly went back to when I'd spend Christmas with my grandparents, and they give all the kids $50 or $100, all their grandkids. And I never, that was just my fun money now. It wasn't cool, a percentage of that goes into this. So it's the little things like that. The moments are happening around us, aren't they? So
yeah, and it's really important. It's more around getting the habit, the mindset, drilling it as much as you can, because they are listening. And I wish that I had that when I was growing up. We didn't have any of that. But yeah, it's forming those habits and drilling that into them. And particularly, look, I've got a boy and a girl, and the boys don't want so much. But my daughter, much like her mother, dare I say, loves the shoes and the clothes and all that. And I always say, and she'll say, Mum, what do you think of this? And I'll go, do you really need it, April? You've got a lot of tops, baby. What do you think? And I try and leave her with that. And I'll say, why don't you just think about it? Think about it for a day. It's still going to be there. Just digest it. Go in your cupboard, have a look, see what you think. 9 times out of 10, she'll go, no, I didn't really need it, Mum. So I want her to think about it before she just jumps on and does that, because it's so easy, right? Think about shopping these days, girls, online. God help me. It's back in my day, dare I say, we didn't have that, right? Now it's in my hot little hands. But yeah, I just try and get her to think before she acts. Do you really need it? How much do you want it? What do you want to do? So yeah, anyway, yeah.
It's even on that. Sorry, I was going to say, Beck, a glass of wine and a scroll can be very dangerous in many ways.
Yeah, I bet it can, because, you've got the happy things going on. It's yeah, let's just do it. And look, having said that, please don't think I'm a martyr. I have my splurges too. You've got to live life. I don't believe in living for the one pinnacle day that, dare I mention the R word, I don't really like the word retirement. It's more around choice. But I personally don't want to forsake my youth and all the years I've got to live now for this pinnacle moment of, when I'm older, I'll have that. What if I don't make it? So it is a balancing act. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've got all the answers. I think you've got to find the balance, and it's ongoing. There's no magic answer. I can say that. There's no magic pill or magic answer. It's getting up close and personal with your money, trying to balance enjoying life now while you're young, but not forsaking your future self. Remember her. Don't forget her. She's coming quicker than you think. Yeah, I think of the last 20 years of my life. But anyway, yeah.
Awesome. I would love to know, Tracey, so you've been in the industry a long time. You've worked with hundreds, maybe thousands of women and families. What are some statistics that maybe situations that you've come across? They could be good, they could be bad, I'm not sure, but just in the sense of us knowing, not hiding from, when it comes to women and future planning, or women and their money. What are some things that situations, statistics, things going on in the world?
Some of the stats, I can't remember it exactly off the top of my head, because I was doing a keynote, I think last year or the year before, and the stats around women, it had actually increased from the I don't think it's I think it's the gen before, the millennials. The millennial women are leaving their money decisions more so to their partners than ever before. It's actually not getting better, it's getting worse. And that blew my mind, because I thought, hang on, what's going on? They're the modern day women of today. They're meant to be like, I've got it under control type thing. And so I remember those stats, and I'm sorry I can't repeat exactly what that is, but I think it was UBS Bank had done some sort of a research paper on what was going on with the generations of women and how it was changing. And I found that a little bit disturbing. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? So it is way deeper than just the money. It is obviously cultural, depending on what culture you come from, the old traditions, stereotyping, just the way we kind of feel about ourselves as women these days. There are a lot religious. So there's a lot of layers that have a massive effect on where we are as women today in our, I guess, embracing, not ability, because we have the ability. There's no doubt that there is never an issue with ability. The ability is all there. It's about us getting our heads around it and saying, yeah, I'm going to sit at the table. So I always use that example of, you must sit at the table. You mightn't like it. And let's face it, right? So I'm a numbers girl. I love numbers, and I'm not so good with words, right? So I have other creative sides. So we all have different superpowers, so to speak. Yeah. And numbers mightn't be your stuff, and money, like doing that stuff, might be like, oh my God, this is boring as you know what, batshit, excuse the French. Like, I don't want to do that. Can you do it, Bob? That's fine. That's great. But I need you to come and sit at the table, and I need you to know what the hell's going on. Because if Bob dropped dead tomorrow, what are you going to do? Yep. And, you know, like, I can share these stats with you. We live on average 5 to 7 years more than men. There is the pay gap, which is sitting at about 14 point something, just under 15% still. We stop to have a family maybe once, twice, or 3 times. We are twice as likely to look after spouses or family members or elderly parents. We have all of these things stacked against us. And because we're paid less, and because we take a break from the workforce to have children and so on, and because we're multi across everything, family and work, our superannuation, you all know this, we end up with maybe less than half of men, but we're going to live longer. So what are we doing? And the highest, that's the other thing that was so disturbing, because I'm over 55, the highest growing of homeless people are women over 55. So I sat down and I thought, how does a woman work her whole life and end up homeless? Because she says, I don't have time to look at my finances. I'm just got to do this other thing. Or she thinks she's not worthy, or she thinks she's not smart enough. Like, the consequences are huge. And the odds are stacked against us. If anyone need to get over their finances all over, it's us. It's us. And maybe we just got to make it a bit sexier, because there is that taboo, right? Isn't there? Oh, you know, they'd be like, Trace, don't talk about money. It's not polite, Trace. Don't mention money. But we've got to change that. And, you know, as you all know, things take years to change in society. So maybe you girls can make this sexier for everyone, right?
We will do our best. That might be our life deck.
I was going to say that after a few glasses of wine, we can do anything.
I know. I agree. I think you can. I do. I was reading this article just quickly. There's have you girls heard of the Confidence Code? They're these 2 women in America, and they wrote the book, The Confidence Code, and they were talking about, have you seen a woman that is so confident, she's walking down the street and you're going, oh my God, look at her. She's just got it all together. She looks amazing, because she's just comfortable in her skin. And she's just strutting away, being herself. Doesn't it make you go, oh, isn't that cool? That is so awesome. I love that. And add that layer of financial confidence too, that you're all over it. Nothing's holding you back.
Oh, I love it. Trace, this is This is a question that I've been wanting to ask you. What are some of the testimonials you've had from some of the women you've mentored and worked with? And probably what's your most favorite that you can see that you're still working with, all your women? What's your favorite testimony you've had from when someone's come in to where they are now?
Interesting. There's so many. I've just got to try and remember them. The biggest thing for them is the fact that, well, one thing that they love, it's like they go, oh, it's not just me. Everyone thinks it's just them. And we love, I say we because I'm exactly the same, that we love knowing we're not alone. It's not just me. I'm not just the one struggling with this. Every other person is struggling with this. Every other woman struggles with this. So all of a sudden that's gone, and it's like, oh, and they relax. And the second part is that they all of a sudden, because part of the program, what I do is we go back to your, what I call emotional stories. We scratch the surface and unearth, where did you come from when it comes to money? What happened at home with mum and dad? Did you live paycheck to paycheck? Or was there abundance? Was it cash and money was not stressful? Or was it, did you hear things like, what do you think I am, made of money? What do you think money grows on trees? What did you hear? What did it feel like? What is that thing that you're carrying right now? What is that script you keep repeating to yourself? People with money must have ripped someone off and they're evil. People in businesses, they don't deserve it because they barely work. What is it that you were told? Because it's in our subconscious mind. We don't even know we're doing it until someone like me goes, hey, can you just go back and unearth this? And they go, oh, okay. And all this stuff comes up. And when they do that, that's the pivotal point. That's the point where they go, oh, can't believe I was doing that. I'm worthy. I am not worthy. And hang on, that was mum and dad. I'm a grown up now. I get to choose, right? Remember, we're not living at home with mum and dad anymore. So then we do a values thing, which everyone's done. I know, sounds like, but it's important to do. And it solidifies who you are. Do a values assessment. What's important to you? What is the thing? What does money mean to you? Because it's not money. Money's just a bloody currency. It's a tool. Money to me means helping my kids, going on a bloody holiday when I can, freedom to choose, have choice. If you don't have money, you don't choose. Somebody else chooses for you. Somebody else dictates your life. You don't get to dictate it, because there is a currency to all of that. That's called, when you have that currency in your hot little hands, that's called your freedom. That's your ticket to ride. Yeah. And so coming back to that, so the testimonials are, I can't believe where I was, to I've had this aha moment which has shifted everything that I ever thought, and now I know that I am worthy. Now I know that I'm going to change those things, and they go off and change their whole lives, and then they email me and tell me all the stuff that they're doing. It also opens them up to be able to talk to their partner about it. One particular girl, she came from a really closed mindset. People with money were evil. She couldn't even bring herself to talk about money. Another one, actually, in the middle of the program, quit her job. And I thought, oh my God, what have I done? Because you have this moment where you go, oh. But she realized once she did the values assessment and discovered her why, that it was not congruent with where she was working. Just wasn't going to match. And then anyway, fast forward 18 months, she was in real estate. Now she's got her own real estate agency and kicking major goals. Like, it was just that shifting point for her. So really, it's always around the mindset piece that starts first. And then once they start doing their first lot of investments, it just changes immediately. It's almost like that hurdle. Once I get over that hurdle, and we're flowing, like, it's just awesome.
Even on that, the last program I did with you, Trace, I realised last week, not going to get into it, but we had to come to New Zealand, and I could literally pack a bag, get on a plane and go. And doing your values test, I do it every 6 months, because it is something that if I hadn't have done, I don't think I'd be in this position, knowing how grateful I am, but also having the awareness of what my value is. And people speak about what's your why and what are your highest values, but doing it with you and knowing that I had to invest, and I feel doing that has completely made me realize my financial resilience, so to speak, would be in a whole different area than what it was maybe 5 years ago. So I'm forever grateful, and I can't wait to do your next course. But the values test was amazing.
Thank you so much. I just love that feedback. Not for me, for the fact that it changed your life. Yeah. And so, you know, if I can have, you know, where they talk about the impacts, like I was thinking the other day, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but anyway, thinking about like, if anything happened to me, what, like, everyone wants to leave a legacy. Everyone wants to have an impact. Everyone wants to know that their time here meant something. It means something. And that's why I do it. I do it because of what you just told me. It means something. Like one little ripple effect for you, you're going to pass that on to your kids. Your kids are going to pass it. Like it just goes on and on and on. And some of the stuff I'll never know, but it doesn't matter. It's out there in the big wide world, and that's all that matters. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Thanks, Beck.
Awesome, ladies. Well, Tracey, thank you for your time.
Oh, that's okay. I probably talk too much.
No, not at all. We could listen to you all day, and absolutely will with whatever you say. For both of us, like you've made such a big difference in our own financial confidence, but then, like you said, the actions that come from that as well, and the actions is where the change happens. And it's just been amazing. So I'm so glad that the women have just got to know you better, and we're going to be doing some more stuff. So Tracey, we're going to get you back into the program at the end of the month, and maybe ladies do a bit of a vote. We'll pop it up, but it could either be Tracey kind of delivering some real goodness, some stuff that could kind of coach you and help you, or we might open it up, have a wine. Tracey won't, because she can't work during the day. She has a wine. But we might just have a chat. So an opportunity to, you know, kind of send in questions, and Tracey can help answer them. So we're going to be doing that at the end of the month, which is great. And then from there, there's a free financial tool, which Beck and I have already done ourselves and experienced. And it's so good. It gives you so much insight into just where you're at right now, and therefore knowing what to do next and what to learn next and what to upskill in next. So we're going to be getting that from Tracey, which we're so grateful for, at the end of this month when we launch a challenge, a 5-day financial confidence challenge as well for all of you ladies. So stay tuned in the page. Let us know what questions you have, because we'll be back having a chat with Tracey in a few weeks' time.
I think that'd be great, and I'm happy to just answer questions on the fly, because I think that might be more valuable than me just talking about stuff that maybe isn't going to hit home. So yeah, I'm in your hands, girls.
We would love that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracey. Good to chat.
Thank you.